So what is going on, guys? TKD 1, 2, 3 video, and this is going to be another installment of the new review format and everything. And I know there was some issues in the last one with audio and everything, and they may persist here, they may not persist here, who knows. But I will be working towards getting a better mic setup for this, recording and everything, and I will make sure that it sounds good, right? I'll make sure it is audible and everything. And just we will improve, people. We will improve. But this week we are going over Roy Wood's "Say Less," the album that came out. For me at least, it's been highly anticipated. Me and OVO. I love OVO. You know what I'm saying? So you know how it goes. And there were a few things that really caught my eye, really caught my ear actually, in the first impressions, right? And it was yesterday, right? So I've been listening to around the day, and I literally just finished my first entire playthrough of the album, right? And so going into this album, right, the first half, right, at least from what I listened to yesterday, there was a lot of similar Roy Woods, right? And it's always a difficult thing to balance, at least for me, in my opinion. Like, it's always difficult to balance because you never want to make the same album again, but you always want to kind of somehow adapt to a new sound or do something a little bit different as opposed to what you did in your first album or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I think in the first half, this may change for me, right? This completely may change for me, but I think that I was a little bit somewhat, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I was a little bit maybe like just taken back by how similar it sounded to the other Roy Woods projects, right? Now, that's not here or there because, of course, people will say, oh, well, hey, like you wanted change of artists, but, you've also critiqued other artists for feeling and like sounding same, but then you have Party Next Door where he put out 7 Days in October, and that was like too different for you, you know what I'm saying? So like you want change from artists, but you don't want too much change. It's a very, very difficult thing, but at least for me personally, from the first half that I listened to yesterday, it did sound a little bit like our standard issue Roy Woods, right? It didn't really push any folds or anything like that. It didn't really do anything crazy, at least for me, in my opinion. But the second half is great. The second half, there was a lot of interesting use of instrumental and everything. It sounded really good. There's a lot of different interesting beats that were in there, a lot of different sounds that were definitely, much of a tropic influence, etc. Like all that good stuff was definitely in the second half. So I am enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? Like I am liking this album. It's not blowing me away though. That's what I'm afraid about here, you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, Majid Jordan, you know what I'm saying, with The Space Between, that blew me away, you know what I'm saying? Party Next Door blew me away in a different way, just of how, like, he had a different sound and everything. Obviously, I had issues with the overall kind of change in style, I would say, but overall, it was good, right? You know what I'm saying? But here, this one isn't really blowing me away. Obviously, I'm going to enjoy it because it's Roy Woods. Obviously, I like the style. It's very good. And I think a part of me also is a little bit kind of still thinking about Waking at Dawn, right? So Waking at Dawn, there was a lot of very, very aggressive and serious tones with the album, right? Like there was a lot of ways that he would say lines. It was very, very edgy, very aggressive. And at least with here, there doesn't seem to be a lot of that, in my opinion. Like there doesn't seem to be like a lot of maybe aggressive R&B is what I would definitely, put Roy Woods in some sense, where he definitely is an R&B artist. But there are times where he is super, super aggressive and super, super like just very, very edgy and sounds very angry in some of his songs, right? So definitely I'll put him in that nice, cool, edgy, type of field of R&B. But at least with here in this album with Say Less, I'm not seeing a ton of that. I'm not seeing a lot of that, but maybe my thoughts will change in our part 2. So this has been part 1, and on the part 2. All right, what is going on, guys? It is part 2 of the Say Less Roy Woods review here, and as you can see, there is a drastic change in audio and everything. I got the Zoom H1 handy recorder mic, so this is my first time using it, so we're going to test it out here and see if it sounds good on this video and everything, and if it doesn't, of course, I will adapt, I will change, I will improve, but this is how it's sounding, and it's on the highest settings possible. It is on all levels, so I don't peak that much. So we'll see how it does and how it performs here on this clip of the video, right? But going into some further thoughts on Say Less on Roy Woods, right? One thing I want to highlight here that's super important, I feel, to the overall album and important to my thoughts on it. It is that track 2. Track 2, Little Bit 11, is by far the best song on this project, 100%. 110,000% the best song on this album. I can definitively say it. I know it's not my final thoughts. I know this is like my more, you know, well-developed opinion and everything through some listen throughs and everything, but I feel like I can definitively say that track 2, A Little Bit of Lovin', is my favorite track in this whole thing, right? For a lot of reasons, and I feel like a lot of those reasons really do reflect on, you know, how I felt about the album at first. So how I felt, you know, how I first felt in the first impression and everything was that there's a lot of samey sounding Roy Woods here, right? Like there is a lot of things that kind of just sound very, very cookie cutter, like very much the same Roy Woods that we've gotten over the years and everything. And, you know, I did acknowledge that there is a sort of, you know, leaving out of that more aggressive R&B that I loved Roy Woods for and everything, that I really admired him for, that I felt was his kind of, you know, different thing that he had with being one of the many artists in OVO, and it's that, you know, he has that aggressive sound when he wants it, you know what I'm saying? Like he can sound very aggressive, very raw, very real and everything, and, you know, we don't really have that here. You know, we only have a lot of that. We have more of just traditional hip hop, more traditional R&B type of sound to it. But A Little Bit of Lovin' is by far one of the most different sounding songs Roy Woods has ever made in his life, right? And I feel like it definitely should be highlighted here, and also it should be highlighted because, you know, a lot of the album sounds samey. You know, it sounds very much like a regular, you know, R&B album, and it's, you know, something that I'll bring up in the final review, which is that it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? It's not really a bad thing to, you know, kind of just make a traditional album that you would be used to making. It's not really that sort of a bad thing here, but it's just, you know, with getting something so different and so, you know, not like the rest of the album with A Little Bit of Lovin', I was hoping that we would get a little bit more of that, you know, going into the rest of the album and everything. And with that being track 2, that's very telling, you know what I'm saying? It definitely does show that, you know, a lot of the rest of the album doesn't really sound, you know, as innovative and as different as track 2. Now, there are great tracks, like right after that, I feel like track 3, which is the self-titled song, I feel like that is definitely a good one. I like the overall feel to it. I like it a lot. It's very dark, cryptic, mysterious. I like it a lot, right? And then I also like the Back It Up, the song with Party Next Door, excuse me. I love that track. I think it's great. I think also to note is that Party Next Door here is the most P&D he's been all year, you know, and that even takes into account 7 Days here. Now, of course, 7 Days, you know, is a album that, you know, it just was very, very different for Party Next Door on his style and everything, and to kind of hear a more traditional sounding P&D was definitely nice to hear on this album. I definitely did enjoy, you know, his performance on the song and everything, and like definitely did like his verse and everything. But, you know, that pretty much, I feel, kind of wraps up my, you know, part 2 of this video. And I feel like, you know, as bad as I really didn't want to comment, you know, on this album and everything, and as bad as I didn't want to say about this album, I feel like this album is just going to end up being just a safe album for Roy Woods. You know, I don't feel like it's going to, you know, break any, you know, barriers or really do anything different, because it hasn't for me. And I feel like, you know, this is just going to be a traditional, you know, Roy Woods album. You know what I'm saying? And I was hoping that it'd be something, you know, would just blow me away. You know what I'm saying? Like the Space Between blew me away. You know what I'm saying? Just because it was not necessarily a different album just to be different, but it was an album that showed the growth in Majid Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Through both Majid and Jordan, it showed the growth between them two, right? In making music and everything. And I feel with Roy Woods, while track 2 is a great song, and while track 2 is a great iterative sound, you know, to Roy Woods as a whole, I feel like this album overall is not groundbreaking. So I'll check you guys back here on the final thoughts. I'll record that in a few days here, and we will kind of discuss the overall verdict of this album of Say Less, Roy Woods. What is going on, guys? It is now the last part of the review here for Roy Woods' Say Less. And as you saw in the last clip, the audio has drastically changed in the car, and like, I believe it's an improvement. It sounds great to me, in my opinion. Let me know what you all think in the comments below about the audio quality of the car now in the second clip. Not the first one. The first one was still on the mic from my iPhone, but the second one was a little bit better, and not even a little bit, way better in my opinion. So definitely go let me know down in the comments below if you enjoyed the mic quality. Now, speaking of enjoying stuff,
myself, I feel like, throughout the week, I was a little bit maybe aggressive on the album, right? I feel like maybe I really just kind of excused it for it sounding very similar to a lot of Roy Woods stuff. And I made comments about saying how, a lot of the album, like, just a lot of the songs sound very much samey same of Roy Woods. And you know what? While that may be true, right? While, I still stand by the notion that, hey, this album is very much a lot of the same Roy Woods, you know what I'm saying? Besides track 2, I feel like this is this is definitely very, very good. Like Monday to Monday, In the Club, B-Town, there are so many other great songs on this that aren't just track 2, and I feel like I wasn't highlighting that, that much throughout the week. And for me at least, by far, definitely the best feature is P&D with Back It Up. Definitely 100%. That is probably the best he's ever been this year. You know what I'm saying? Like, it sounds very much that classic Party Next Door, that sound that we all love and used to. And of course, 7 Days was a little bit of a different album for him, but overall, this is definitely kind of reminiscent of his past works, and I definitely do enjoy those past works to 100% degree. You know what I'm saying? But then there's 2 other ones on Balance, track 14, with Division and P&D. P&B Rock, and they were good. They were all right. Division was great. P&B was good, but I still feel that definitely Party Next Door is the best feature on this. And of course, there was in the beginning 24 Hours, which to me he kind of sounds like a very auto-tuned, not mess, but just a really stereotypical, auto-tuned artist. So definitely wasn't the biggest fan of 24 Hours. Like, it was alright, but like, definitely P&D was the best feature out of all. And with this, whole album being 16 songs and 57 minutes long, it definitely does feel a lot longer than that. So that's good to hear as well. So you will definitely feel like this album is definitely like a lot more, it'll feel longer than it actually is, on paper. And so, there is that to mention. And overall, let's just discuss my final verdict on this whole thing. Now, Say Less was a highly anticipated album, at least for me. It was amongst all those on OVO that were dropping this year. Definitely did enjoy all of it. You know what I'm saying? There were some that were hit and misses, whatever, with P&D's, 7 Days, and I love Majid Jordan's. And Divisions was kind of okay for me, and I feel like the okay notion will also go to Say Less as well, but a little bit more of a enjoyed okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, this, album does have songs that are very much Roy Woods songs in the sense of, like, they really do sound, like any other song that he put out in the past. However, they do, have a level of just polish and quality that is good, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like, he's definitely getting more comfortable with his sound and everything, and more comfortable in his singing and his sounds and everything, and like the notes that he hits and everything and stuff like that. But overall, just with the bottom thesis that yes, all the songs here sound pretty similar to old Roy Woods. They are good. They are good Roy Woods songs. They're great songs. It's a great album. And I definitely do feel like it is worth your stream, your purchase, your however you get music. Definitely do feel like it is worth it. And ladies and gentlemen, that is my time here on the Roy Woods Say Less review. If you want to join, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share down below. And I appreciate all the feedback you guys give me. And also make sure to keep it locked on my Twitter, where you will get announcements on when and what is my next review for the week. And definitely do check out that. Usually I tweet on Monday or Tuesday, but around the beginning of the week, I tweet out my album that I'm going to be reviewing next week and like that week currently. And so definitely go keep it locked on my Twitter. Thank you all for watching, and as always, I got you.